Welcome to a new episode from English Plus Podcast. Today we will talk about ancient Egypt. We will talk about Red Land, Black Land, the Gift of the Nile, life in ancient Egypt, hieroglyphs and papyrus, powerful pharaohs, pyramid tombs and mummies, and lasting reminders of the past. So we have a lot to cover about ancient Egypt, so let's get started. We will first learn about Egypt and then we will focus on some key words in this text I'm going to read to you about Egypt. Pyramids and pharaohs, mummies and magic, picture writing on papyrus, ancient Egypt had all this and much more. Rich, powerful, and peace-loving, this North African kingdom was home to a splendid civilization that lasted 3,000 years from about 3300 BC to 30 BC. Ancient Egypt was a vast territory stretching 700 miles, about 1,100 kilometers, southward from the Mediterranean Sea. Most of it was hot, dry, and dusty. The Egyptians called it Desert, which means Red Land. But the world's longest river, the Nile, runs through this desert. Every year, the river flooded the surrounding land. The floods left sticky, smelly mud covering the land along the riverbanks. Egyptians called the riverside area Kemet, which means Black Land. This land was very fertile. About 5000 BC, the ancient Egyptians built some of the world's first farms and villages there. Now, what about the Gift of the Nile? Egypt was sometimes called the Gift of the Nile. All Egyptian life depended on the river. Farmers dug ditches to bring its water to fields of wheat, grapes, and onions. Rich nobles, town traders, and poor country families all built homes made of sun-dried river mud. Craftspeople shaped clay from the Nile into pottery and wove cloth from the flax plant that grew on its banks. Families caught fish and river birds for food. Children played in riverside pools, but they had to watch out for killer crocodiles. And what about life in ancient Egypt? Most ancient Egyptian homes had just 2 or 3 rooms, with workspace on the roof. Rich people built larger houses with painted walls, fine furniture, gardens, and pools. In poor families, women wore rough homemade dresses and men wore cloths tied around the hips. But the rich could afford curled wigs, makeup, colored clothes, and jewels. They had servants and slaves to work for them. Rich or poor, all Egyptians valued family life. They married young and had many children. Families worked together and played together. Egyptian people liked games, stories, music, dancing, and holiday feasts and parades. The ancient Egyptians believed in magic and many gods. People built little shrines to their favorite gods. They wore amulets and recited prayers and spells. They also built statues representing gods. The most famous is the Great Sphinx of Giza. This huge statue with the body of a lion and the head of a man still stands today. And now let's talk about the hieroglyphs and papyrus. The ancient Egyptians had a complex system of writing known as hieroglyphics. This form of writing looks like columns of little pictures. These picture symbols are called hieroglyphs. Not everyone could read hieroglyphs. Reading and writing was the job of special scholars called scribes. Scribes wrote in hieroglyphs on papyrus, a kind of paper made from reeds. This was some of the world's first writing. Pages of poems, songs, stories, math, science, and astronomy have all been preserved. And now let's talk about the powerful pharaohs who ruled Egypt. Egyptian kings were known as pharaohs. Egyptians said the pharaohs were the children of a god. They were links between heaven and earth. Pharaohs were the chief priests, lawmakers, and army commanders of the kingdom. They gave orders to governors, judges, tax collectors, and soldiers. They made treaties with foreign rulers and controlled trade with other countries. All Egyptians had to pay taxes to them or work on their building projects. Which brings us to the pyramid tombs and mummies. Some of the pharaohs had great pyramids constructed. A pyramid was an enormous stone tomb. Building a pyramid was a tremendous project. Thousands of people worked for many years to construct one. Some of the stone blocks that make up the pyramids weigh more than 2 elephants. The ancient Egyptians believed that their bodies must survive for life after death. They had their bodies made into mummies. Mummies were preserved, dried, and wrapped in cloth. Egyptians hoped this would help their spirits survive after they died. Pharaoh mummies were placed in pyramids or great tombs surrounded by treasures to be used in the afterlife. Guides to the world of the dead written in hieroglyphs on papyrus have been found with mummies. Most royal mummies and the treasures buried with them were stolen by grave robbers long ago. Egypt's rich civilization attracted many invaders, but it survived for thousands of years. In 30 BC, Egypt's last pharaoh, Queen Cleopatra, killed herself rather than surrender to Roman conquerors. That was 2,000 years ago. But ancient Egypt has not been forgotten. Some mummies were so well preserved that they are still around. Some of them are in museums. And many of ancient Egypt's greatest monuments, including many pyramids, are still standing. You can visit them. So that was our story about ancient Egypt. I hope you learned a couple of things that you didn't know about ancient Egypt. And now we will talk about some of the key words from what we said about ancient Egypt. But before we do that, let me remind you that you can find interactive activities, PDF downloadable worksheet with the answer key, of course, the show notes, the text itself, all on our website, EnglishPlusPodcast.com, and you will find the link to this custom post related to this episode in the description. So take the link and take your English with it to the next level. And if you like the content we're creating and you would like to support us to create more of the content you love, go to Patreon and support us by becoming a patron of the show. Help us reach more people and create more content. Now, that being said, let's start talking about the key words that we can find in this text we used to talk about ancient Egypt. Now, I will start with the very first word, and that is flood. When we said every year the river flooded the surrounding land, what does that mean? If a river floods, it overflows, especially after very heavy rain. So that is the meaning of the river flooded, and here we're talking about the Nile River, of course. Then we have the next word, and we said the land was very fertile. What is the meaning of fertile? Land or soil that is fertile is able to support the growth of a large number of strong, healthy plants. Good soil to plant in. That is what we call fertile. And now the next word, we have ditches. We said farmers dug ditches to bring its water to fields of wheat, grapes, and onions. What is the meaning of ditches? A ditch is a long, narrow channel cut into the ground at the side of a road or field. Or in this case, when they dug those ditches to bring water close to a river or a water source to bring water from one place to another. And now for the next word. Value. We said all Egyptians, rich or poor, valued family life. What is the meaning of value? And here we're using value as a verb. If you value something or someone, you think that they are important and you appreciate them. So that is value. Now for the next word, we have feasts. We said Egyptian people liked games, stories, music, dancing, and holiday feasts and parades. Now, what is the meaning of a feast? A feast is a large and special meal, but we can also use it to talk about a day or time of the year when a special religious celebration takes place. And then we talked about the parades. What do we mean by parades? A parade is a procession of people or vehicles moving through a public place in order to celebrate an important day or event. So these were the feasts and parades. What else? We also said that people built little shrines to their favorite gods. What is the meaning of shrine? A shrine is a place of worship which is associated with a particular holy person or object. In this case, a god, according to their beliefs, of course. They had many gods, but that is the meaning of shrine. And then we have the word scholar and the word scribes. We said not everyone could read hieroglyphs. Reading and writing was the job of special scholars called scribes. Now, what do we mean by scholars? Now, a scholar is a person who studies an academic subject and knows a lot about it. That is a scholar. And what is the difference then between a scholar and a scribe? Now, the scribe is different. In the days before printing was common, a scribe was a person who wrote copies of things such as letters or documents, even books. There was no printing press, so it was the job of people to copy books and documents, and these people were called scribes. And now for the last two words, we said Egypt's rich civilization attracted many invaders. What is the meaning of invader? Invaders are soldiers who are invading a country, who are attacking a country in order to occupy the country or to steal things from it, or just to beat the other soldiers, but usually they come to stay. That's why we call them invaders. And then we have the word conquerors, which is close, but not exactly the same. We said Queen Cleopatra killed herself rather than surrender to Roman conquerors. Now, the conquerors of a country or group of people are the people who have taken complete control of that country or group's land. So these were the Roman conquerors, the invaders. Queen Cleopatra killed herself, and with it, everything I want to share with you today in today's episode from English Plus Podcast. We talked about history, we talked about ancient Egypt, we talked about many things and many words. I hope you found them useful. I hope you learned something new about ancient Egypt you didn't know about before. And of course, along the way, you learned a couple of words you can use in your own reading and writing. Before I leave you, I will remind you again that if you want to take your English to the next level, take the link you can find in the description, and it will take you to the custom post we created for this specific episode, as we do with every other episode in our podcast. You will find the show notes, of course, the text itself, and you will find interactive activities and a PDF downloadable worksheet you can download for free, of course. Do the exercises, check your understanding of both the listening and the words, and then you can check your answers with the answer key we provide with it as well. With that being said, I would like to thank you very much for listening to another episode from English Plus Podcast. This is your host, Danny. I will see you next time.